Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. On this episode, we are joined by Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. Welcome. We are excited to have our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza podcast, a remarkable figure in the podcasting world, hailing from the Republic of Kenya. He has garnered 3 nominations for Best African Diasporan Podcast by the APVA. In addition, he has also been nominated for Best Blog by the Texas Creator Awards. And in addition, he was a presenter at the Afro Audio Podcast Festival and participated in the 2025 Podfest. Welcome, Sambaza.
Hey, Jen, what's up? How you doing today?
Hey, good.
Another week, fresh and exciting.
It is. Summer is almost over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kids started school today. This actually is the whole week. Texas, Texas, they start school this week. So shout outs to all the kids who are starting school. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's to a great school year and incoming fall. For sure.
New Year, new things.
For sure. So family's good. Kids are ready to go back.
Everybody good. Everybody's good. Yeah. They're getting
great.
Along. Yeah. All right. Are we ready for today's show?
We are. So it will be just us today. Sambaza is going to share with us and tap into his professional expertise to share with our special topic for today on outsmarting internet cons and scams. So as you may not have known, Sambaza is an IT professional. And so we have been kicking around this topic for a while, and he said, you know what, like this is like my bag. So your thoughts on you tackling or leading us in this discussion today.
Actually, it probably was. Thank you, by the way, Jen, calling me an IT professional. Flowers. But what I wanted to, the reason why actually this topic was being done or is being done today is because I just took a class for journalism and internet hacking and stuff like that. How to get your security going. We consider ourselves journalists, pseudo journalists. Like that. So I've been taking a class, just finished it. I get my certificate. And so with that, this was a topic that was coming up. And I said, you know what, that might be a time to at least revisit this issue. Yes, I do IT. I went to study security. That was one of my mainstays. And here we are. So, and Jen, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, for sure. So we're excited about this conversation, and this is one that you definitely may want to come back to and take notes and things like that. So if you're catching this in real time, that's excellent. Or if you're catching it on the replay, that's cool too. And the audio episode will be up very soon.
All right, and let you know we're also live on TikTok and on Clubhouse under the House East African Excellence, and that's where we showcase our extra stuff.
Okay, shout out to the additional platforms that Sambaza has made arrangements for us to be on. So we will, gladly partake in the conversation on those platforms too. So shout out to that. All right. So before we get into all of the things, what about an affirmation?
All right. We start with the affirmation. Affirmation of today says, I do not need all the answers to remain grounded in this moment. I'll repeat that again. I do not need all the answers to remain grounded in this moment. That's our affirmation for the day.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. How about an African proverb?
All right. So here comes the African proverb. So I visited the country of Tunisia. It's on the northern side. It's a North African country bordering the Mediterranean Sea, whose capital, by the way, is called Tunis. Tunisia, Tunis. All right. A few facts about this country. It's the first Arab country to abolish slavery. And this was, they say Tunisia was the first Muslim country to officially abolish slavery between 1841 and 1846, that long
Hmm.
ago. Then they have an ancient amphitheater. It's called El Jem Amphitheater in Tunisia. Is one of the largest Roman amphitheater ever built. Has a capacity of 30,000 plus people. Now you're looking at back in the day. You have to look at it back in the day and the Roman Empire. This is how big they built stuff, and for them to have built this, there must have been a lot of people that it was willing to accommodate, and they must have used it for whatever purpose it was for, maybe gladiator stuff. Yeah. Last but not least, when you see people in Tunisia expressing gratitude, often they use their right hand, places on their chest, close to their heart, meaning thank you. So sometimes you see people doing this, and maybe they don't have an idea, but this means thank you in Tunisia. You probably see a lot of that when you go there. All right, now to the proverb of the day from Tunisia. It says, "When a trader gives you advice, half of the advice is for him."
Okay.
When a trader gives you advice, half of the advice is for him.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, are you asking what we think about that one? So, I would say since this person is identified as a traitor, they have ulterior motives. And so, with them having ulterior motives, whatever they're going to say is going to be to their benefit. And that's where I'm going with that
Okay.
one.
Okay. How about looking at it this way? Don't ever take something at face value. When you look at a trader, let's look at a trader. Um, like a trader is always unbiased when they are doing their business. So they listen to the
Sure.
customer. The customer tells them, "Oh man, I like that." Like for example, you and your business, they'll tell you, "I like that dress. That dress." Maybe you sell like 10 dresses like that. So guess what? When you come and sell it to somebody else, you say, "Hey, that dress is what people like. That particular one. Maybe it's a red dress or the pink dress. That's the one that people like." So your advice is half of yours. You don't know that the dress is good or whatever, but you're using other people's
Right.
advice to tell anyone coming in looking at the dress that, hey, that's a great dress. So you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes you just take things at face
Face
value and
value.
then know that also the person's experiences are what comes into play as well. So don't go with it like that's the one and only thing that you're looking at. Always look at, like when I say that when you see a story out there, there are always three sides of the coin. Let's say if it's there's yours and the truth. So three things that you're looking out for. So that's the proverb
Okay.
for the day. Right.
All right. We received that. Thank you for sharing. Did you want to greet the chat?
Oh yeah, sure. Before we get started, we got Ed Campbell joining us today. He said, "Peace and gratitude, family. I'm in the building, yo. Yes, yes, you're in the building. Welcome, welcome." And then he says, "Since a person is a mendacious individual, their advice is deceitful trick knowledge. I call it." Oh yes, yes, yes. You're right.
Okay.
All right. So then let's talk about internet scams.
Yes. And so I found a recent news story as recent as this month on August the 5th that kind of just shows you how prevalent this matter is. So Meta banned over 6.8 WhatsApp accounts tied to a global scam and a soaring
Mhm.
internet fraud. So that's a news story from this month, and there's probably several, but that one really stood out. Another kind of shocking large number statistic regarding the matters, the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center reported a staggering losses of 16.6 billion in 2024 as a result of internet fraud, and that was a jump from 12.5 billion the previous year. So just last year, 2024, 16.6 US individuals,
Hmm.
took losses in some way or another from internet fraud. So it's very prevalent. And I have my own fraud story. I think everyone can probably share a matter where, something happened. So we definitely need to have a conversation about this. I appreciate you sharing your expertise in the matter. And yeah, so we're ready to get into that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the few uh, fraud fraud stuff that comes up now. Everybody knows about the Nigerian letter. Let's start from there, where somebody sends you a letter, chain letter, telling you, "Hey, you know what? I got like 20 million US dollars equivalent, and would like you to help me get into it. I just need your bank details, and then I'll send a transfer to you. And once you get in this transfer, you can share the amount. I mean, I'll give you like 5 million US dollars. I'll take the 15, not a problem." A lot of people have been caught with this, and this also has had actually made some people in Nigeria, actually, they were called the Yahoo Boys, and that thing has become a name actually, um,
Mm.
in turn in Nigeria about people who are internet scammers. So there's the
Mhm.
Nigerian letter gave birth to the Yahoo Boys, and actually this became sort of like a pandemic because at some point, part of the the issue of some of those killings that happened some time ago in Nigeria. I think it was about 4 years ago. At the start of my podcast, 4 years ago, there was some massive killing which came up because the police were hunting down the youth and asking them if they were Yahoo Boys. So a premise of how
Mm.
it starts off. So that's the letter, and then let's come forward. Let's look at other things that come off from there. Now, um, most of this, it's not only the Nigerian letter that you get. There's always something happening, especially in the US when there are calamities, like just recently. And we pray for the people who got affected by the floods here in Texas. Soon as
Mhm.
something like that happens, people utilize that idea of you being in in a situation where you're compromised, and a lot of
Right.
people will come in, say they're going to help you, and that's where scams come in. Now these are just the first line scams that you get over the phone. There'll be some during the tax time, IRS. So you always are constantly on the aware, and now that with the internet it's become much more prevalent. Now there's something called phishing, that we'll talk
Mhm.
about. Phishing is a fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information like passwords and banking details via deceptive emails and websites. That comes up like the Yahoo Boys. You get people even here in the US, scammers come all the way. And the thing about the scammers, okay, we have to realize it may not be somebody internal. Especially when these come from the internet, they usually are bouncing around. So one computer, people sending information all over. There's something you've ever heard of, the dark web. That's where all your
Mhm.
passwords are gathered. People buy and sell stuff, and then that comes into light, and this is where you get caught. Um, Another thing is called smishing, SMS, text messaging, phishing. That's where you get a text message, you're told to respond to this particular item, and when you respond to it, chances are you're going to be losing some information. Once they get
And
that
there's
information,
usually a link in that message, right? That's
so
baiting
you
you.
click a link, right? You click a link and you get there. Once you get into it, that's it. Your phone is hacked, and all information is picked up from there. Like we talked about, social media scams, fraudulent accounts, fake giveaways, romance scams,
Mhm.
impersonation attacks via Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Now, I'm going to give you another thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the first one you talked about phishing,
Mhm.
that one, a lot of people may unknowingly or thinking it's a legitimate correspondence because you may see the Bank of America logo or logos that you recognize, but they're actually not the actual company, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So Yeah, you get them. Um, you have to be really careful when you get them because, like you said,
Hmm.
they come with logos. They look like they're the real stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
um, as time goes by, they become much more better and better. But again, with the technology, it kind of mirrors itself together. They become much more smarter. The technology comes much better. So
Mm.
it balances out because now you're able to catch them in a more quicker manner. Before, like, you get a letter in the mail, somebody could be conned in the letter in the 1960s just by a letter. And things, by the time somebody gets the letter there, things have happened. Right now, if there's the internet, things go as fast as possible. So as fast as they lose
Mm.
money, the same way you can be caught doing crazy stuff. So what you get is this, okay, fraudulent accounts. We'll talk about romance scams, impersonation attacks, where somebody actually, now they have the voice, where
Yes.
call with the voice. They did that. Was it Joe Biden? Somebody played with Joe Biden's sound and was talking about it over the internet, and it was actually here in Dallas, Texas. The firm had used AI, captured the voice, and then called in and was saying something about the way Joe Biden was. This was more political, but the fact that the voice came, and the way you pick up the phone and hear stuff going on, and you listen to your voicemail, or you listen to a
Mhm.
voice, and it sounds so real, is what kind of throws you off. But then,
Right.
as a human being, the first thing and I'm just jumping ahead here, is you kind of like, wait a minute, how is this happening? First, question yourself, and then that's kind of your first trigger to getting to know what to look out for, right? All right, let me go back a little bit. Let me tell you a story. And this is be funny. It sounds so trivial, but it costs money. I used to work at a bank,
Mhm.
and this is how you start knowing this thing's happening. You'd get a phone call, and somebody says, "Hey, I am so and so, and I need to talk to my bank manager." Now, if you're brand new or you've been there for a while, I need to talk to my branch manager. They're on this particular place, and this is their phone number. Blah 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 blah. Right? And this particular bank, you have some specific customers who are like, they only talk to their bankers, or they have special accounts that they only talk to their bankers. So guess what? You transfer that call, sending it to that particular line, right? Unknowingly. But guess what? This was somebody calling from prison, and
Hmm.
you transfer the person from prison to somebody somewhere, and they have the phone number, and they'll go ahead and talk on the bank's dime.
Right.
But guess how? This is how this is how they caught you. They told you they're a very important person, and they need to talk to their bank manager. And you are looking at, oh, their bank manager. This must be somebody who maybe has millions of dollars in their accounts, and you cannot mess with them. And most of the
Okay.
time, that's how it starts. And that's your first instinct. Why? You ask yourself, why are they in a? First of all, they're usually in a hurry. Then you ask yourself, why are you in a hurry? And if it's that much of a hurry, kindly slow down, relax, and then try and verify. Once you start verifying that information, you'll realize there's a problem right there. And for the
Mhm.
most part, there's always that sense of urgency and trying to make you move faster, confuse your mind. And then the next thing you
Mhm.
know, made that mistake, and it's gone. You're already in it. So,
Right.
the things you want to look at, right, is urgent, let's say urgent and threatening language, or my account will be closed today, or your account will be closed today, or my grandmother is sick. They'll try to use anything that they can get you to be compromised, to get you in a compromising situation where you kind of understand um the suspicious numbers. So they'll have like the address. Always look at the email address. um Another thing is on the email addresses. Trying to get this. There is a code that you look at on the top, which has a security. It usually has like a lock on your email
Oh
address,
yes. Mhm.
on the website, on the URL. It always
Right.
has that lock. Once it has that lock, then you're sure that it's secure.
And the
Those are the
HTTPS, right?
that's it. HTTPS. You see that? Now you're
Mhm.
a bit secure. And then you now start looking much more into it. Now, the phone numbers. Sometimes they tell you, oh, I'm calling from here and here and here. You're like, okay, hold up. You call from there, there's a problem. Okay, fine. I'll take care of it. Hang up, call that number, or I'll call you back. It stops that from going there.
Mhm.
Poor grammar and spelling. When you see that
Mhm.
letter being written and you start reading through it, especially those letters, look at the language. You will find that it's not getting right. It's not matching what you're looking at. And once you see those mistakes, and especially grammar, yeah, start questioning them. So those are the first few things we want to. I'll say that you want to look for. I know this is a lot of information right now coming in.
It
So
does, and take a breath, because I, definitely have, been through some of this. I know you have a story that you're going to share, but as a consumer, I, experienced some of that, and looking back, it's like, oh wow, where the logo matched. There were a few little things that that just weren't right, like you said, some of the grammar, and like they started a sentence, kindly do this, and it's like not the way that most, American professional correspondents would read if you're picking up a Bank of America letter. So, look for those little, things. And like you mentioned, the grandparent, I actually had a member of my family, elderly person, got a call saying that their granddaughter was caught up in, X, Y, and Z, and you better do this, or we're gonna, take your granddaughter's in jail, and you better do, send me this iPhone card, back when those cards are really prevalent, and you better do it, and there's this threat. So it's a lot of, different things to look out for sure.
there was one we used to have when I was working for an association. Anytime in the beginning of the season, somebody would send an email and say, "Hey, I want to surprise. It's the chairman of the association. I want to surprise people on that particular place, and I needed to put in some money to get some gift cards, and I just need like about $200 to put into the gift cards, and then I'll refund you from the bank when the treasurer sends me the money." But I didn't want, if I tell the treasurer, they're part of the deal, so I don't want them to know. So if you send me the money, I'll do it. I'll
Oh
I will.
gosh.
You know, then you're like, at first, the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, they're doing this nice gesture. That's pretty cool. Then I started going in on it, and I was like, wait a minute, why am I giving you money for an association? And yet you have the money. If you're going to do it, you're the chairman. Why don't you get that money and then you do it? I don't need to ask you. I'm just a board member. I don't have that pull. So
Right.
then I kept quiet. Then a couple of days, we were having the meeting. We were having the monthly meeting, and then somebody said, "Oh, yeah, we're trying to get you guys some gift cards here." And this person kept on asking me to get you some gift cards. Actually, this guy was being hit up for $700 worth of money so that they can get the gift cards. And
Mm-hmm.
then we started laughing. Then I realized, oh, so this is what happens every year. So we just tell him, okay, fine, no worries. The next time you tell him, hey, if you want to buy the gift cards, you can buy them and send them to us. We'll take them and send them over. It's okay. So that's the answer that he used to get all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But one more thing, sometimes do not answer those emails. The minute you click that email, that could be setting up the computer into a whole bunch of things, because that will allow them to get or gain access into your account.
Right.
So sometimes it's just best to, if you see it does not look right, send it back, because most of the
Or
time
hit the
correspond
spam button, right?
hit the spam button, because
Mm-hmm.
nowadays correspondence that's sent to you will it's really hard to get that. You'll get some letters in your email, then it'll follow up with a letter in the mail if it's
Mm-hmm.
something very very serious. So you want to check both. And that's one of the stories I had to share about what happens around my side of town.
For
Did
sure.
you
And
have?
it will. Yes, I do. But let's reframe it because we are on the other platforms. Shout out to
Uh,
TikTok and Clubhouse audio app where we are also showing this broadcast or doing this broadcast on TikTok and also on Clubhouse. So we are talking about outsmarting internet cons and scams from phishing, text alerts, deceptive social media posts. Sambaza is kind of tapping into some of his IT professional ism to share things we should look out for, warnings, things we can do to protect ourselves from these type of scams and cons. So that's kind of a reframe, reset. And he showed us that we talked about the types of fraud, okay, and things to look out for. One thing I just thought about with the grandpa daughter are these threats that can be made. You should be careful about, I guess, if you're on the phone with someone, repeating, they made like, you're like, hello, 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 you know what I mean? Like, from I've heard that's not good because they could like record your voice and you like, is your name Steven? Yes. And then like, oh, they got a yes out of you. You know what I mean? Like, is that something too?
yes, that's something
Mhm.
too, especially now with AI and what they can
Yeah.
do with AI formulas. They can create anything. But also, some of the social media scans that I want to throw in here is when you have accounts with few posts and a lot of followers.
Mhm.
That's something that you want to kind of look suspicious. And then
Mhm.
too good to be true offers. You know, some things are too good to be true. Uh, I mean, hey, yes, I know there are good people in this world, but somebody offered to give you $1,000 as a gift card to send you to whatever you want to go to. All you have to do is just click on this, and then you get no, no, no. Yes,
Right.
okay, there are good people out there, but not that good. All right.
Right.
Well, we also already talked about like direct messaging, asking you for money. There was one this guy on Facebook. Uh, so this happened to the Kenyan community as well. So this girl would come in, and she had a particular name. She'd come in and she'd say, "Hey, how are you?" You make a friend. Then after a while, she says, "Oh, how are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And then they kind of know your general area, right? So let's say
Mhm.
we're talking about Dallas. They will kind of say, "Oh, um, they know Dallas, a few things about Dallas. Maybe they've studied online, they've watched, nowadays with the world being a global village, you will have so much stuff. Oh, by the way, growth therapy is online. She's on TikTok. She said hello. I
Oh.
just had mentioned that. That's Denise. So um, she'd come and tell you, hey, you know what? You'd be like, oh, cool, we're friends, blah, blah, blah. Tell you about Dallas, stuff like that. And then a few, whatever, down the line, a couple of days, she'll come and ask you for money. She'll hit you up for money, straight up. And then when you tell her you can't
Mm.
give her the money, she'll abuse you. And you unfriend her, she
When
moves
you
over to the
say
next.
abuse, you mean like she will insult you
Oh,
and
yes, she'll go off
mm,
on you. So she'd been doing like that to a whole bunch of Kenyan men online.
mhm.
She just clicks on Facebook, and that's what she was doing. So these are some of the things that happen in your normal life. Oh, another time, same thing, Facebook. Now, this was my coworker. This came in and said that she was in Japan and she was stuck. She was trying to come
Mhm.
back to the US and she needed like $500 to get her back. I know that person. She's cool people. But how are you so close to me that you ask me for money even though you're stuck?
How was
That's
the ask? It was on a text message or through Cash App or what?
Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
Mm.
So Facebook,
Okay.
these are Facebook, some of the things that happen on Facebook. Then,
Yeah.
fortunately for her, she posted and said, "Hey, my account has been hacked. Anybody asking for money, don't
Mhm.
don't agree to sending them money." Well, sometimes some people have sent money and they just go ahead and just, uh, I'm sorry,
And
they just,
yeah,
yeah,
that made me think about this. And actually, a girl on TikTok made a video. She was, I guess, kids or teenagers were selling bottles of water, and so I guess she didn't have cash, so she was using her Cash App to Cash App them the $2 for the bottle of water. And he said, "Well, oh, let me put it in."
Oh,
And so she hands him her phone so he can put his Cash App handle in, and he's sending thousands of dollars to himself from her account. There's no recourse on Cash App. I hate to talk bad about the company, but there's no recourse for Cash App. I know a lot of people use it to like pay their lawn guy or their hairdresser or their barber, and those are decent, in common transactions. But when you do something with someone you don't know well at all, and
mhm.
they turn around and do something like that, there's no recourse for it. So you have to be very careful with Cash App. I have a Cash App story, where someone's got me. And I even seen a video where a girl was on a date with a guy. And he said like, oh, like he was gonna take a picture of her, and he actually said, isn't that horrible? You're on a date with somebody and they're robbing you? Like, that's
No,
crazy.
no,
That's crazy.
no,
These
no.
things happen. So you have to be very vigilant and, have your head on a swivel and be mindful about just, here, let me hand you my phone that I have my Apple Pay tied to my bank account and my Cash App open and hot and ready for you to hit the button and send yourself. I mean, really, Zelle too. Like these are things
Yeah,
we don't think about.
yeah. And Denise said she just threw in this and said you can actually go ahead and make a claim on
Okay.
your Cash App. They will
Okay.
maybe now, but you see, here's the thing. It's not that you'll get your money, but it's the hoops that you get to the
Yes.
money and what you have to go through, especially identification. If somebody
Mhm.
steals your identity, woo, that is the worst. You will struggle and struggle. My other thing, when you talk about the bank accounts, PayPal.
Mhm.
First of all, PayPal, you can't get somebody online. And when you call
Mhm.
them, they'll tell you another story and they're from another country. And then when you say, oh, it's okay, we're done, nothing. They want you to go through the emails and what have you, right? So this is
Mhm.
what happens. Somebody from Singapore gets into my account, withdraws money through my PayPal account. And
Mhm.
I can see it. It's here, drawing in, and it goes to my bank account. Now I go to my bank and say, "Hey, I didn't authorize that account." And my bank says, "Okay, we don't, because now since you're a customer, you've been here, and they have all their stuff for the fraudulent stuff. They take care of it, right? My money is brought back." But guess what?
Right.
PayPal's money is gone.
Mm.
So according to PayPal, I owe them some money. Yet I am telling PayPal, this is not me. This is somebody else. What am I? Where am I in Singapore? I'm not even in Singapore. I don't belong in Singapore. But here they are. They're
Mhm.
telling you you owe them money. Do you know it's been 3 years now? I've not been able to get that account back. And right now, even trying to get into my PayPal account, I just say, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm done with it. And this is an account I've been having for almost 20 years,
Mhm.
because PayPal used to be the greatest thing you could work on with money at that back in the day.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know what? I'm done. They can keep getting.
Really?
What do you?
Hmm.
I try.
Okay. Yeah, I
It's usually
actually
the
haven't
hoops.
had a negative moment with PayPal, and actually usually prefer it. I know a lot of people prefer it over Cash App because of, you can label and, your transaction, like if you're, paying your lawn guy or it's a
Mhm.
business exchange, you can classify it in a particular way where, or if you're doing a, sending a donation to someone, or, you're just giving your daughter $25, without fees and things like that. Usually PayPal is, a good method. So it's kind of a bummer that you had a negative experience with it.
It's like different people have different experiences, and
Hmm.
you just don't want to get into that experience. Like
Right.
I hear now, Denise says it's difficult for the disputes to go through, but he
Hmm.
said maybe it's easier for them to dispute businesses, and then say like my friends
Hmm.
will bake a cake, and customer will eat the cake, and weeks later dispute the charge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of that too.
Yeah, it's weird. I got a question here. How much are you using your credit card or your debit card? Hmm. I think I'd say this. I use Capital, and I'm going by the business. I wish Capital would be sponsoring this show. Capital One, they're very good at that. Let me toss another one. Apple Card. Apple Card is another one whereby
Mm,
there's a scam. I got this. Well, I think I got scammed whereby they had this thingy. Where they tell you can have three screens on your. You attach two screens on the side of your
monitor.
laptop, and you have
Okay.
like a monitor, three screens, three monitor screen, and they brought it up. Great thing. Used it. Then it had an option to use Apple Pay. So I used
Right.
Apple. Um, Waited 2 3 weeks, and by the way, it was not even 2 3 weeks, 2 3 weeks, a month down. Most of the charges, most of the banks tell you within a month you report, they will be able to refund you the funds back. But this one I
Hmm.
waited months because it was around Christmas time, and they said, oh, we're getting late, things are coming back. You know what they sent me? They sent me that thing you put at the back of your phone to hold the phone
Like a
for
pop.
$40. I don't know
Okay.
what, but the thing, you know what I'm.
Yeah.
They told me, hold on to this as the other thing is coming. We're sorry, we apologize for $40. So I waited and I told Apple, and Apple, I made a complaint, and Apple refunded me the money, no problems at all,
Mhm.
and story ended. Capital One is another one that helps, that does a good job, and that's what I
Yeah.
use. I don't
Chase
use.
also.
Yes, and Naomi here is saying all credit cards and debit cards are insured. Yes, that's true. They're all insured. However, yeah, banks are required to issue a temporary credit within 72 hours as they research on it. Yes, yeah. Actually, that part Naomi is telling us about how the bank works. I've
Mhm.
worked at a bank. That's what they do. And which is the most weird thing, and please don't do this, it's very bad, it's very bad. So they'll catch you in the end, and that'll be fraud. So if you call a bank and you say, hey, I people do this, I and don't do this at home, guys, don't do this at home. They call in, they say, hey, I lost $20. I don't know what I did. I'm not sure. I may have gone to the bank, to the I may have gone to the ATM and somebody withdrew the money, or I don't know. It's not me. So for $20, you say, "Oh, I lost $20." The bank will tell you, $20 is not worth the amount to go file for it. However, you repeat that again one more time or twice, they catch you. That's it.
What
You'll
are
be in
they
trouble.
supposed to replace you or replace it or credit it to
No,
you?
they're gonna come after you. Somehow they're gonna come after you. They'll take
What
your
is
money.
supposed to happen? I'm trying to understand. Like,
So when you say $20, like it's when
okay.
you're a bank merchant and you say you lost like a penny, they won't look
Hmm.
at the penny. They'll say, "Oh, let's cut it off," right? But if you go in and go twice, thrice, and say, "Oh, I lost a penny," and it amounts to, okay, back in the day it used to be seven. Now I'm telling bank secrets. Back in the day it used to be like $75 and above. If you came in and made a complaint, Jen, I call your bank and say, "Hey, I've lost $75 or more." That's something that they can file a case on.
Okay.
They will do
I'm
for
just, you're
anything
saying
less.
loss, but you're saying like you lost it
Stolen
or,
something, stolen something. I'm saying it's stolen something. Yeah, but
okay. All
75
right.
and above is where it's worth their time, worth their time.
Okay.
But if you came and say $20 is not worth the bank's time. They'll charge you to the game because remember it's insured. But you keep
Okay.
repeating it, and they notice your account. They note that, hey, you did this a couple of times. Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble.
Oh, I see. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So,
So so that's kind of how the banks operate. But that was a long time ago. Nowadays, I guess they use something else. Yeah.
yeah.
So back to where we were. Now we were talking about how to protect yourself. Now there's something called a
Hmm.
two-factor authentication, which
Hmm.
is another layer of protection. That is the best way of protecting yourself because it's, for example, if you haven't gotten into an account for a long time, right, then it tells you, hey, just hold on, let's verify. We're going to send a code to the person who has this account. So maybe you have an email. This is a separate email, so it'll be like Jen WY, and then your next email will be Jen 44, right? I'm just putting a name. So they'll
Mhm.
send an email to Jen 44, which is still your email. Then you have to go back to Jen 44, right? And look at the confirmation of the verification code, and then come in and punch it in on this account, and then get in.
Correct.
So you are definitely going to be in possession of one of those items. Be it, if you're not going to be in front of the computer, definitely you'll have access to that email. Now,
Mhm.
chances are, unless that person is right there next to you, yeah, then somebody's robbing you at gunpoint or something,
Right.
right? But chances are, when they ask for the authentication, you are sitting somewhere with your, or it goes to a different phone, something like that, and
Mhm. Mhm.
you get your email, you punch it in, and you get in. That is one of the best ways
Mhm.
for you to protect yourself. I think at this time, um, I can safely say, yeah, that will help you out.
Mhm.
But if you don't, most of the times you will lose out with these scammers.
Right. And I actually heard that like that Cash App scenario where the person was taken advantage of, that there's a layer of an extra layer you can put on your Cash App account, like maybe a thumbprint code or even a number code where it's not just constantly open. And maybe it's not a good idea to just leave it open where someone can, utilize it. But if you're handing them your device, it's kind of hard for that. So,
Yeah, and nowadays in this world, handing your phone out to somebody is really, uh, I don't know. It's like your wallet. Your phone is actually your wallet,
mhm,
because your phone has your bank information, your bank details, and everything else. By the way, I I even with knowing all that security, I still have my emails and passwords and everything, because as I age, they change. There's so many. You have like so many of them. But the best case scenario is, whenever you create a folder or a password key manager, keep that
mm,
information, right? Make it lockable with a password. And another
mhm,
thing, even that password, I'm sorry, as you get older, you probably write it down, put it somewhere you can find it, or maybe in your house. Somebody will not know what that is for. Like, say for example,
mhm,
they see a John Doe email at hotmail.com, password, say lovely lady. All right. That's your username, password. If you use that and leave it in the house somewhere, you know what it is for, but it's your physical. At some point, you have to have a physical identification, or something that
mhm.
has to be tangible, so that it can help you get through the others.
Right.
So that's one of the ways of keeping yourself safe,
Now
because you can
you
forget.
mentioned the password apps and managers. There's even paid ones. Is that something you recommend?
Oh yes, there's one actually. It's called, I think, Passkey. Called Passkey. Yes,
Mhm.
and I think I'll get that information and put it in. So what this does is, it actually auto generates for you the passwords, and it
Mhm.
gives them strong passwords, and then it saves them, so you don't have to go back and kind of remember it, because you'll you'll get assigned, and then it'll kind of lock itself with your username and password. But I don't want to get too technical with it, because I want to just stay with the normal. You know,
Mhm.
this will be like high level, because the reason they were using this was for journalism, and journalism, they really want to keep their information tight, because now you have people who might be listening in, try to check in your
Right.
emails and stuff like that. But for a normal user, you can get regular pass keys. Even Google Chrome nowadays, Google Chrome and Apple give you an option where you save the password, and then it saves in the system. Then you have to use your facial recognition to be able to get into the account. You can use that option.
Mm.
Now,
Mhm.
yeah, somebody cannot just get your facial ID and get you, unless, like I said, these are dire circumstances where they have to do that and then pick up your stuff.
Right.
But generally, the two-factor identification is your best case scenario. I
Mm-hmm.
think with that, I've covered a bunch of stuff that
Yeah.
people sit down and look at and see what you have. And this is what I say. People say I don't have stuff that somebody can steal. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. It's the hoops and the hoops that you have to go through to be able to get back your accounts and everything else.
Right.
Like for what Naomi was saying here, banking. You call the bank, first thing they'll tell you, oh, we're going to shut down all your accounts. Okay, they shut down all your accounts. They give you a temporary card. Now you have to go with your temporary card. It does not allow you to get a lot of money, and maybe your checks are coming in. If they bounce with those checks, you still get
Mm-hmm.
overdraft charges. Those overdraft charges are still waiting on you. Once you resolve it, then you have to go call those people and say, oh, my card had been compromised and stuff like that. So these are hoops. Yeah, you'll get to the end, but these hoops will cause you grief before you get to
Correct.
that. So it's best to avoid it before you get to it. Like I said, a thief can break your window to your car and steal a car
Mm-hmm.
stereo, right? Back in the day when
Right.
they could. So he breaks and takes. The problem is not the stereo. They can take the stereo and go with it, but then you have to figure out how you're going to get the window fixed, and that's not a cheap item. You have to go get the window and do all that. Then your time is spent. So it's like I would have just told you, hey, just open the door and tell him, hey, you want the stereo? Take the stereo and go.
All
You see what
right.
I'm saying? It,
Yeah.
so that's the hoops that you have to go through to get yourself
Definitely.
back into on track. So don't ever say that, hey, you know what, I don't own anything or I don't have anything that does not that's not of worth to somebody. Somebody out there has something that somebody out there wants something that you have of value. Now, they may not get money, but they could be after your social security number, they could be after your bank details, they could be after your, it could just be cheap stuff. Remember, like the phone stuff. Hey, I'm calling you. I'm the CEO for so and so. I need a tag to my call to my branch. Actually, to my branch number. This and this and this is the branch. You send
Mm-hmm.
it. It's not the person, the caller, who is losing money. It's the bank that's losing money because that call is charged. 50 calls
Right.
like those, or maybe 70 calls like those in different branches. Like say, the bank would have like maybe 80 branches. 50
Mm-hmm.
calls a day like those go through.
Yeah. Mm,
That's a lot of money. But
definitely.
so it's just be aware. You always have that feeling, that funny feeling at the back of your mind, that whatever, not that cold feeling, the worst one, Jen, the one that you start feeling a sweat trickling down your back. That one, you got. By the time you get home, you don't want
Yeah,
to get there.
been there, been there. No, I didn't actually share my story yet. So okay, so
Yes,
and I
now.
told you it's kind of like that movie. It's like a comedy, Identity
Mhm.
Theft with Melissa McCartney and Jason Bateman. So she's just like doing all these little scams or something. So anyway, and that's what you call phishing. So someone calls me and they're like, "Oh, we're calling from the Bank of or Card Services, right? Because it's so like Bank of America, but your payment goes to Card Services. So you think they didn't say Bank of America, they just said Card Services. So is that right? Well, I make my payment to Card Services, so it must be right. So anyway, he's like, I'm going to lower your interest rate. Would you like for me to lower your interest rate? And that's another thing. Don't be too like excited and having this conversation with this person that you've never seen before in your whole life. They may be offshore, they may be onshore. You don't know, but I'm like, yeah, I really would like a lower interest rate. I'm like in my 20s and don't know no better. And so it's kind of funny. It's actually not funny because he was trying to scam me. So anyway, he had part of the number, and that's why, because I was very leery, like even being naive, I was very leery in sharing. He's like, I know you're cautious in giving it to me, but I have the number right here, I just need the last four numbers. And so he literally read me like my whole account number except for the last four numbers. So I was just like, well, dang, he already had the numbers, so he must need it and I gotta give it to him if I want the interest. So you do want the interest rate lower, right? And so I gave it to him, right? And so then he's looking, and at this time, like my credit cards are damn near maxed out. Okay, so and that's why his scam and his plan didn't work because I'm got all these credit cards that are damn near maxed out. So he's like, this one, you don't have a lot of availability left on it. And I was like, no, because I need my credit card rate lowered. And then he said, okay, give me another card. And so I was just like, okay, same way. He's like, well, this one doesn't have a lot of availability either. Do you have anything else that has more available? So he did, like, his tone completely changed from him being like, oh, we're going to give you this interest rate, to like frustrated and mad and like in a hurry. Like you said, they were in a hurry. And then he got mad at me. He was like, you don't have any other card? Like, he actually said that to me. And I was like, no, I don't. You're supposed to lower my interest rate, right? And he hung up on me. Do you know he hung up on me? And with that, and then when I called into the real credit card, they're like, we would never do that.
Oh,
And this was a scam, and so I had to, like, put all my stuff and freeze, and it was just crazy. But that was kind of like the same stuff in that movie. She's like, oh yeah, we're gonna lower your interest rate, and so
and,
yeah.
and you know what's funny? Actually, Naomi has been saying the same thing. She says always lock your credit, especially if you don't have big purchases or large
Mm-hmm.
purchases, and also hang up and call your bank if you're suspicious. Just hang
Mm.
up, call the bank.
Definitely do not feed them any of the information. I mean, it's bad enough that the real ones want you to verify your date of birth, and like so much information. But the legitimate ones even need that information. But the ones that are like trying to fish information from you, you really have to be, yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. There was another time we were at the gas station
Mm-hmm.
and dropped the card. Boom. 10 minutes down the street, we get a
Yeah.
call. Hello, this is so and so bank. Have you made these charges on this particular account?
Oh
Dude went and made
no.
So the dude went and made stupid charges. He got gas. Then he went to get cigarettes. Now, one thing I tell you about a bank is banks are always. I'm sorry, we're going to be banks here because most of the time it's usually banks. Banks usually know your credit, your history,
Trends, right?
trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't buy cigarettes. The minute they saw cigarettes being purchased like twice, they're like, shut it down. Let's call it
Yeah.
about cigarettes, and that's how it stops. Yeah, and I used to work for like I said, I worked at a bank, and this bank was really it's a good thing and it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. So you call your bank, especially when you're traveling out of the country. You call your bank, or when you're
Mm.
going somewhere, you call your bank so that they kind of know you're out of the country and you're making these purchases. That's one of the things that can help you. But this is right here in town, right?
Right.
And that that was AI back in the day.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you got gas from gas station A for the last 30 days, the system would process it very well, right? Let me tell you, let's say the day you went and visited somebody else, I don't know what you were doing, but went to a different spot, and the morning went and got gas from a different station.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna lock your card.
Oh, okay.
It will not allow you to get gas.
Mm.
So and this was just internal. It wasn't even out of the country. But
Right.
yes, they were very good at that, and it helped a lot of people. But you used to get those calls of people who are desperate to get money
Mhm.
to charge to whatever to gas up their cars. But
Absolutely.
it's for your own benefit.
It is. So, I mean, if it's too good to be true, it doesn't sound right. And even if it is potentially, if this is a legitimate call, please give me the phone number where I can call in and authenticate this transaction, because you have a right to ask questions, you have a right to challenge these people. You don't have to do what they say, even if it is a legitimate call. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yep.
it's better to be safe than sorry. And just reframing the conversation, if you're tapping in on our additional platforms that we're broadcasting on, having a conversation about outsmarting internet cons. As consumers and business owners and homeowners, we definitely have to protect our assets and our things. So we're having this conversation. Sambaza has been leading the conversation as an IT security professional. So yeah.
Hey, but look, you guys, I'm also somebody who will get caught up in it. I may know all the security, but there's somebody who's much more smarter than me. It's just that they haven't gotten to me yet. And Naomi says, always carry cash. Yes, cash is king. However, that is also it's also debatable, because with cash, you can easily lose cash. Sometimes going
Whoa.
cashless is much better.
Yeah.
Uh, Naomi says, "Yeah, if you enter your zip code wrong, that could also get you into trouble." Man, I'm liking
Mm.
Naomi today. Naomi and
Mm.
they've been hitting that TikTok today like crazy.
Okay. Shout out to that. Look,
Oh,
we're gonna have to
guys, we really appreciate that. Yeah,
yes, pick up and do a brief after show if you have time for it. But
yeah. I'll try to see if we have some time and do an after show. With that,
okay.
Jen, look, there's so much stuff. One thing I'll say is, at least this will help people. Not don't be too scared about what's going on. Some people get
Mhm.
over scared with whatever's out there, because there are people who can really do bad stuff on your computer. But I just want to let you know, just be careful. Try as
Right.
much as possible. You can have all the knowledge, but you can be played as easily. Even top professionals who know this
Mhm.
top down, there's somebody who's going to be smarter than you at one point who's going to play you. So just do what you can, and just be safe out there, and just keep repeating yourself. If you feel suspicious, you always got that sixth sense that tells you wait. When that person, that angel, tells you wait, yeah, just take a chill for a minute.
Oh, absolutely. Even at work, when it's, some work correspondence comes across, because every once in a
Oh,
while, sometimes the organization may send you, like, to see if you're going to go for it. And then sometimes you're wondering, like, is this a real email? I will send that to help desk in a minute and say, is this a legitimate email? Let them do it. That's their job. You know what I mean? And don't take a risk. You may send the whole company on a blackout, by fooling around in some email.
Speaking of work, they used to do that. And you know what? It got to a point where when you got an email, it didn't look even, it was probably legit, but as long as it does
Mhm.
not have the company information that didn't look right, oh, we were just hitting the spam button and sending it over till some moments the management had to come in and say, okay, when you see this email, this is so and so, then they have to send like a letter and say, you're going to get this particular email from us. So be careful about it. It's not spam. Yeah.
Right.
So they had to
Definitely.
tell us in advance. But one more thing before Jen we go. Denise is here with Heal, Empower, and Release, and she goes
Hey.
100%. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then she says, "True, this is for what you're talking about, work, being
Mhm.
feeling that that feeling you get at the back of your head." And Naomi, thank you so much. She says, "I always carry at least $40 in my purse and
Mm.
put $20 in my car." Right. Yep. And she says, yep, even her, she says, like you, even if my manager sent me an email and I don't like it, I send it to the help desk.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh man. Okay. Last but not least, we're winding down. Denise said, I did an FB ad and began receiving all of these
Ooh.
emails about issues, but they all have Gmail endings, so I knew they were fake. There you go.
Mm.
Learn something every
And
day.
that's something they try to encourage you to do those ads, like it's really going to take off, make your business take off, or your social media life take off. I've always been leery about those ads. I just something said, I don't know about those ads. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Jen, with that being said, I think we have exhausted what we can. I know there's a lot
Yeah,
we can talk about
for
for
sure.
now,
We can pick it
but
up another
I want to thank, yeah, everyone who joined in, Ed Campbell, Denise with Heal Power and Release, and also Naomi. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll say hi to the fam, all of us around here. So with that, Jen, send us home.
Absolutely. Again, thank you guys for joining us. We hope that today's conversation has enlightened and inspired you. And if you found today's episode meaningful, we ask that you consider sharing it with friends and family on the socials. Share it, share it, share it. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change. We invite you to stay tuned for more engaging content and look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. So, for now, again, you guys have a great one and take care.
Bye, Wasamazaji.
At this time, we're going to go ahead and conclude the episode. We greatly appreciate you listening. We invite you to follow us on social media. On Instagram, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. On Twitter, it is Woke by. On Facebook, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. We also have the new website up, www.wokebyaccident.net. Please check us out. And also follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms. And please leave a review and share feedback. You can also reach out by Gmail, wokebyaccident@gmail.com. And every time you listen, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening and take care.